It's just like a really cool time for music, and I feel very energized. And it's weird at 53 to feel like you're just beginning your journey, and it's because it's such an exciting time. 47 weeks so far as we're videoing this on the Billboard charts. My mind's blown. I remember when it was 10 weeks, I couldn't believe it. I thought, oh, because in the past, we have hit #1, and that was very cool, and it's an honor. But, about 3 or 4 weeks later, you sort of slide off and you make room for some other awesome albums to come up. And here's our little High Voltage Blues hanging on. So yeah, it's just really cool. And doing this long and finally having this kind of success, you really appreciate it, I think. I think I was the most honest I've ever been. And the problem, I think, for me is that I love ZZ Top and Led Zeppelin and Metallica as much as I love John Lee Hooker and Buddy Guy and B.B. King. Like, for me, they're superheroes. They're my superheroes. And I've always tried to work in the blues world, and sometimes maybe I've toned down my rock edge a little bit. Sort of like you may be different with your best friend than hanging out with your mom. It doesn't mean you're a different person or you're not sincere with your mom. You may not drop an F-bomb with your mom, or you may do it with your friend. Well, I thought that, I was definitely sincere, but maybe I was showing a bit more of the blues side. With this, I guess I thought, well, man, I've made 14 albums. I might as well just be 100% myself. And if I want to finger tap like Eddie Van Halen or try to be like Eddie, I'm not going to stop doing that. Like, I'm just going to be genuine, take it or leave it. And I think for a long time I was trying to get the love and support from more traditional blues people, and it just wasn't happening. So I thought, you know what? Love me or hate me, but you won't forget me. I'm going to do it this way. And I think all of a sudden our crowds have tripled. People are coming out, and I think that there's a whole bunch of people who like Zakk Wylde and Stevie Ray Vaughan, and I think, and a lot of people used to say, Pete, that I was too rock. Man, you're too rock for blues, or you're too blues for rock, and you don't fit in anywhere. And what I've realized is sometimes what you may perceive as your greatest liability is actually your superpower. And we did an interview with Vintage Guitar, and Oscar, I was talking with Oscar there, and he said, hey man, you've kind of created your own lane. And now a lot of people are, I guess the timing is great. A lot of people are starting to find that lane too. And I think it's exciting. My PR person asked me to do a Spotify playlist. Anthony, do a Spotify playlist, and so I said, well, I really want to concentrate on emerging acts, and as well as, some established ones, of course, like Rival Sons, I had to throw them in there. And I went digging deeper because I felt like I wanted to provide a service to our fans, and, The Damn Truth is on the list, and, a bunch of bands I really dig. And I was so blown away with the quality of artists. And in fact, I think it made me more appreciative of what we've been able to achieve, because I thought, here's 100 people that are all deserving of major success. They're all really making great music. I really dig some stuff Jack White is doing, and the Cold Stares, and Black Country Communion's going to put out a record. I love what they do. So it's really exciting. Like, I feel, and technology's come to a point where, okay, we've sort of accepted where things are, but there's a bunch of new possibilities, and some very creative person is going to utilize what's here and blow our minds. We've got U2 doing the Sphere. It's just like a really cool time for music, and I feel very energized. And it's weird at 53 to feel like you're just beginning your journey, and it's because it's such an exciting time. Yeah, there's a lot of people making great music, and that's very inspiring. It's great for the genre. It's great for, as an artist, I feel like I'm not alone. I feel like, wow, there's of course, there's always competition as an artist. You want to be the best, you want to deliver the best record, but there's also a feeling of your peers. And when you see that you're in a strong scene, it inspires you in a way that you're proud to be part of this collective, you know? And I think back to the late 60s when there were all these great guitar players, Hendrix, Beck, and Clapton, and Jimmy Page, and Ritchie Blackmore, and they're all hanging out, you know? And they're talking about things, and they're inspiring one another. And, you know, I feel like this is starting to happen here, and I'm listening to these artists going, whoa, listen to the mix on this record. Wow, this is really great. Yeah, and I think it validates what you do too as an artist. It's like, hey, you know, we're not the only crazy ones on this island waving the flag. There's a bunch of really awesome people out here. So yeah, it's pretty motivating and inspiring. Look, whenever technology is a great thing, if it's used as a tool, you have to realize that you can make a deal with the devil, right? So you can, like, sometimes we've pitch corrected a note that I've sang on a record because the performance was really good, and well, that note I kind of, it was a little sharp or a little flat. I could re-sing it, no problem, but you know, I really like that take. I think that that's cool, you know, if you're gonna do a little repair or a little, you know, a punch in or something. Now, if you have to auto-tune your whole song because you're nowhere near the ballpark of singing correctly, well, I think that's where it crosses a line. I'm a huge AC/DC fan, and somebody just did an AI version of Bon Scott singing "You Shook Me All Night Long," where they took, you know, the track and Bon was singing it. And it's not like how he would have delivered it. And I think "You Shook Me All Night Long" on Back in Black with Brian Johnson singing it is perfection. That being said, as an old school AC/DC fan, it was fun. It was fun to take that journey. But, you know, it's not an accurate, you're not capturing the spirit of a performance. But yeah, it's crazy times, you know, that we live in, and it's exciting, man. It's exciting to see where it could go, because these people did have such signature voices, and I don't know, you know, you could make an argument that, well, if they were in the studio and a producer was really guiding them, maybe they would have guided them in the same way or a different way, you know. So, yeah, man, if somebody wants to listen to Anthony Gomes in 75 years, I'll be happy. 75 minutes, I'll be happy. Maybe it becomes public domain or something after a certain while. But yeah, look, anything that promotes creativity and inspiration, I'm all for. And there'll be new, you know, new exciting things that come along. You know, the electric guitar was a new and radical thing, right? And it made some awesome leaps and bounds in popular music. So yeah, I'll keep an open mind, but you know, you still have to preserve the integrity of the music. Some, you know, yeah, in some way, shape, or form. Yeah, so High Voltage Blues was mixed and mastered by a gentleman named Chris Collier, who's fantastic. And everybody's sort of really dug the production of Peace, Love, and Loud Guitar, High Voltage Blues. So we got Chris to remix and remaster Peace, Love, and Loud Guitars. It's coming out January 5th. We have a single dropping the 1st of December, The Whiskey Made Me Do It. So it's the same album, but it's just turbocharged. And it's cool, man. It sounds really, really great. It's a lot more present, a little bit more rock-edged. And we had a lot of people who have been turned on to the band by High Voltage Blues. And so the question is, well, what next? What do I get next? So we figured, well, this would be a good companion, you know. And I'm very proud of the old version, but this one puts a new, new high-octane kick to it, so it's very cool. I've thought of a live album, you know, and you have to have the right band to do that. And this band, we just hit our 100 gig mark. And I used to have, well, even our drummer's father would say, our drummer's father is a drummer as well, and he would always, you know, say, "Hey boys, you're nothing unless you have 100 gigs together." And COVID really threw a wrench in that, but now we're back out and rocking, and so yeah, I would love to do a live album. I think that I like the perfection of a studio recording. You know, I'm a big Steely Dan fan. I love the perfection of a pristine representation of your songs, but I also love the live energy, hanging on by the edge of your seat thing that a live record could do. So yeah, definitely. Yes, absolutely. It's going to be entitled Praise the Loud. We have 15 songs completed that are just ready to be mixed. It's rocking, maybe a little bit more rocking, a little bit more darker, I would say. Heavier and darker, maybe a few less funny songs. It's just sort of where the music took us. But yeah, I'm super stoked. You know, I feel like High Voltage Blues has opened the door, and Praise the Loud will allow us to cross through it. You know, I feel like it's going to be maybe a career-defining moment. So, I mean, we say that with every album we do, but I mean it this time. I really do. No.
Remember when Anthony said this in our interview 6 years ago, too?
It's going to eclipse anything we've done. And the only thing that I don't like about it is I'm going to wonder how I could ever top this album. I think it's going to be that good. And you know what, Pete? It was. That album went to #1 on Blues Rock Reviews, Best of 2018. And that album really began the journey that we're on now. From our audience, to quote Spinal Tap, was very selective prior to that. And that started to garner us more fans, and I feel like Peace, Love, and Loud Guitars was a big step for us, and now Praise the Loud, yeah, watch out. You know what? I don't want to oversell and underdeliver. Not to oversell and underdeliver. So I hope that people like it, and I hope they like it as much as our latest, and I'm very proud of it and super excited. The Rival Sons. I love to jam. I love that whole band. I love their whole vibe, and it'd be a treat to play with their drummer, man. He's just like, he's a cement mixer. I love the band, and yeah, I'll do whatever, man. I'll sing a little oohs and ahs. I'll play a little rhythm guitar, whatever. You know, I just really dig that band a lot.